Welcome to Gemara Journey with Rashi. We are in Masechet Berachot. This will be Daf Chet Amud Aleph. The Gemara begins, Amar Rav Chizda said, La'olam yikanes adam shnei petachim bebeit haKnesset. Rav Chizda said, a person should always enter through two entrances into the Beit HaKnesset. The Gemara asks a question, Shnei petachim salkadaitach? Do you think you have to go through two entrances? Or rather say, Shi'ur Shnei Petachim. Rather say, the measurement of two entrances. And only afterwards you should daven. Comes Rav Chizda, and Rav Chizda tells us, whenever you enter into a Beit HaKnesset, make sure you give yourself enough space to be away from the door, and only then you should daven. Now, Rabotai, this over here, you see a lot of times when people, especially running for mincha, and they want to daven by the door. Davening by the door is not allowed. And that's what the Gemara is telling us over here. Amar Rav Chizda said, La'olam yikanes adam shtei petachim bebeit haKnesset. Really, or always, a person should enter through two doorways into a synagogue. That means you open one door, or you have one entrance, and then you have another entrance. The Gemara says, doesn't make sense. What? If I only have two doorways, only then can I enter? But if I only have one doorway, I can't enter? So that's what the Gemara says. Do you think we're speaking about two doorways? Rather say, rather say, the measurement of two doorways, and only afterwards daven. When we look into Rashi says, Shi'ur shel shnei petachim rochav yikanes lefnim. The measurement of two doorways, the width of the doorways, that measurement, that's how much you should enter. Yikanes lefnim, enter inside. Shelo yeshev samach lepetach. You shouldn't sit close to the entrance. Dinira alav kemasoy iku beit haKnesset, because it looks at you that is like a burden by delaying in the synagogue. And he's, he's getting ready, waiting by the doorway to come out. That's why we don't want you to daven by the doorway. Because when a person is going to look at you and they're going to say, why is he davening by the doorway? Must be one reason. It's because it's a burden on him to stay longer in shul, and he's getting ready to run out. That's what Rav Chizda tells us over here. Lo'olam yikanes, you have to say shi'ur. You see this word, Rabotai? We're going to take this word shi'ur, and we're going to put it right before this word, before the word sheni. Because that's what he says. Rather you have to say like this. Lo'olam yikanes adam shnei shi'ur shnei petachim. Right? One more time. La'olam yikanes adam shnei shi'ur petachim. Right over here. Actually, it says it right here also. Right over here, it says it perfectly. La'olam yikanes adam shi'ur shnei petachim. Right? That's what we have over here. Shi'ur shnei petachim. There we go, Rabota. All you got to add is the one word of the shi'ur right before the shnei petachim. So you're going to learn like this. Amar Rav Chizda said, La'olam yikanes adam shi'ur shnei petachim ve'achar kach yitpalal. First enter into the synagogue the width of the measurement of two doorways, and only then go ahead and daven. Now, Rabotai, let's just say for argument's sake, I don't know how long the width of every doorway, but Rashi tells us, right? Rashi said, Shi'ur shel shnei petachim, the roch of the width, right? We need the width. We need the width of the two entrances. I need that measurement. So let's just say for argument's sake, every width is about 3 feet, for example. So 3 times 2 is going to give me 6 feet. So comes Rav Chizda and he tells you, when you walk into a shul through one doorway, make sure you are away from that doorway 6 feet away, and only then can you daven. But if you are within 6 feet, that's not good. Why? Because then it looks at you as a burden by delaying in the synagogue. Amar Rav Chizr said, a person should always enter two doorways into a synagogue. Do you think it's two doorways? Rather say, rather say the measurement of the width of two doorways, and afterwards you're going to daven. Now, Rabotai, we're going to jump into a new piece. We're going to see over here, it says, Al zot yitpalal kol chasid elecha le'et matzom. And this, every single chasid, every single pious person should pray to you at the time of finding, at the time when he's actually going to need it. Now, Rabotai, I'm going to tell you like this over here. No. We're going to see over here, we're going to see over here, there are going to be many sages that are going to go in and they're going to try to explain to us, what does it mean? Like, what should a person pray for that at the time when he's going to need it, it should be readily available? That's what we're going to see. And everybody's going to tell you, like, for example, I'll give you one example. Rabbi Chanina, what does this mean? What does it mean that something that you're going to need, that it should be readily available there when you're going to need it? What is it? Zoisha. So according to Rabbi Chanina says, what should a person pray for to Hashem when he's going to need it? That it should be there? It should be found? He says it's a woman. A person should always pray for a good wife. And we're going to see that. Let me just show you another case. Let me see another case. 1 second. Rabbi Natan Omer, Torah. He wants to say, no, it's Torah. A person should always pray that he's going to be able to learn Torah. That when he's going to want to learn Torah, he should be able to learn Torah. Rabota, and that's how it's going to go. I just want to show you that. I'm going to translate this one time, the word le'et matzah. I don't know why it's not giving me. Fine, but you guys understand the concept. We're going to translate the le'et matzah, and we're going to keep on saying it in Hebrew, but then we're going to define it according to which the sages are going to want to explain it to us. Fine. So let's do this. Let's first see the verse in Tehillim. We need to go to Lamed Bet Vav. In the Sefer Bikraot on page Tet Zayin, he says like this. The commentary says, when it says over here, Al Zot Yitpalel, what's going on? When it says over here, Al Zot, right? When it says Al Zot, so he says, Ha'amur B'sof HaPasuk. David HaMelech saying that on this a person is supposed to pray to Hashem. Now, what is on this? So he says, the commentary says over here, what is stated in the end of the pasuk. We're going to see this right now. Okay, so now let's go back over here. Azoti Palakol Chasid. On this, every single pious person should pray for Elecha to you. Le'et Mutzo. At the time that when you're going to need it, it's going to be found. So what does it mean, Le'et Mutzo? So he says over here, Be'emtze'acha lekabel tifilato. Azoti Palakol Chasid Elecha. On this, every single person should pray to you, Hashem, that it should be found in order for his tefillah to be accepted, so he should get what he davened for. What does it mean? Rak l'shetev mayim rabim elav lo yagiu. What does that mean? When we say over here, Rak l'shetev mayim rabim elav lo yagiu. So he says over here, only about a flood of vast waters, of a lot of waters, elav to him lo yagi, it should not reach him. What does it mean, elav lo yagi? What does it mean we don't want these many waters, basically? We don't want the floods of waters to reach him. What does that mean? Koloimer, meaning to say, shelo yipol beyad sonim, that one should not fall into the hands of his haters, people that hate him. Shehem kemaim shotfim, because they are like water, maim shotfim, like water that are able to wash you away. When water washes things away, it damages. So too, when people hate us, they can damage us. They're like waters. They're like a lot of waters that are able to wash us away, flood us away, and in that way, they're going to damage us. Now, so what is David HaMelech over here saying? David HaMelech says, you know what a person should always pray to Hashem? That he should never fall into the hands of a person that hates him. Now, that is David the Melech's opinion. When we go to over here, now we're going to understand how each rabbi is going to go and he's going to give us what should a person pray for. So when he's going to need it, his prayer is going to be accepted, and whatever he asks for is going to be found. So before we begin, let's just see Rashi. Rashi says that one should daven for whatever he wants to daven, that at the time when he's going to need it, it should be found. So he says, Yitpalel, he should pray for, he should pray for whatever he wants, that at the time when he's going to want it, when he's going to need it, it should be found for him. That's what Rashi is telling us. Yitpalel, he should pray for, that they should be found for him, when he's going to actually need it. So now, Rabotai, understand that that's what means Yitpalel et motzo. So basically what we're saying in simple terms is, what should every single person pray for? That eventually when he's going to need that item, Hashem is going to be found and he's going to answer his prayer. Okay, so let's start from here. Al zot yitpalel kol chasid elecha le'et motzo. We define what the pasuk means. Amar Rabbi Chanina said, le'et motzo, do you know what this word le'et motzo means? Do you know what you should pray for? So that whenever you're going to need it, it's going to be found. Hashem is going to answer your prayer. You know what that is? Zoisha, a person has to pray for his wife. A person needs to pray for his wife. Shenema, like the pasuk says, matzah isha, matzah tov. Like the pasuk says, if you found a wife, you found good. Now, Rabotai, I gotta do this. I mean, that's why I love doing pasukim. But do you want to see this mishlei? This is not normal. Matzah isha matzah tov veya fik ratzon me Hashem. What does that mean? Let's see this in Mishlei Perik Yudchet Pasuk Chav Bet. Let me see. Mishlei. I have it on page Yudchet in the Sefer Mikraot. What do we say? Yudchet Chav Bet. Okay, watch this. Yudchet Chav Bet. Yes, page Yudchet. Okay, Chav Bet. He says like this. Rabotai, watch this. When it says matzah isha matzah tov v'yafek ratzon me Hashem. So the commentary says matzah isha tova. If a person found a good woman, matzah tov, he found goodness. Now I want to show you something, Rabotai. As we're going to do this, I just want to show you, because remember, we're speaking about it right over here now, le'et motzo, correct? Le'et motzo. So Rabbi Chanina wants to understand the word le'et motzo is going on matzah, finding. Right? You see the common denominator, motzo, matzah, finding. So he wants to learn that from me, I'm able to learn that it's going on matzah. And that's how everything's going to be. They're going to bring in words that are similar to the word motzo, and that's what they're going to say, that this is what every single person should pray for. So let's get back over here. Rabotai, listen to this. What does it mean having a good wife? Is a good wife that makes you watch TV, makes you go to the beach, makes you go to the movie theaters, makes parties? What's a good wife? Or is it a good wife that allows you to learn? Is it a good wife that tells you, don't go there, don't do this, you have bad friends, don't watch TV, don't waste your life? Rabotai, Mishlei, if you guys don't agree with this, I'm not going to say Chazal say it. If we disagree with anything that Chazal say, we are chas v'shalom apikorsim. We are mamish heretics, chas v'shalom. If this is what the Torah tells us, this is 100% emet. There's the opinion of the people of the world, and then there's the Torah opinion. What really matters is the Torah opinion. I'm not concerned with what everybody else has to say. Show it to me inside. That's all. So look what Shlomo Melech says. Look what Shlomo Melech says. So he says in the commentary, matzah isha tova. If a person found a good wife, matzah tov, he found good in his life. Why? Ki hi ozroto be'amalo, because she's going to help him in his amal, in his toiling, whatever he's going to work, whatever he's going to want to do, she's going to be there to help him. V'yafek ratzon me Hashem. Listen to this, Rabotai. And then he's going to be able to obtain favor from Hashem. Listen what the commentary says. Oto ha'ish motzi ratzon mehakadosh baruch hu. That man is gonna find favor from Hashem. Ki hi matzile oto mehachet, because she saves you from sin. Why are you gonna find favor in Hashem's eyes? Because your wife protects you from sin. If your wife directs you in avodat Hashem, in Torah, that's a good wife. You have found favor in the eyes of Hashem. Rabotai, but other way around, chas v'shalom, if not, you guys know the rest. Let's do it one more time. It's a beautiful verse. Matzah isha tova, if a person found a good wife, matzah tov, he found a good life. Ki hi ozroto be'amalo, because she's going to help him with his toiling. V'yafek ratzon me'Hashem, when we said in the verse, Oto ha'ish motzi ratzon me'hakadosh baruch hu. Do you know why that man finds favor in the eyes of Hashem? You know why Hashem is going to favor him? Ki hi matzilato me'hachet, because she is saving you from sin. A woman's job, Rabotai, is to help a guy, not to chas v'shalom bury a guy. And unfortunately, you see it a lot when I get phone calls. My wife wants to go to the beach. So what? My wife wants to go to the party, not kosher party. I was one time asked if they could go to a club, a Bukharian club, whatever. I don't want to say where it was. Come on, Rabotai. So what? She has her hair covered, mitpachet. Doesn't mean nothing, Rabotai. You can't go against the Torah. Oh, Shalom Bayit, Rabbi. Baba Maises, that's what it is. Okay. Anyway, now let's go back over here. So we see from this pasuk, Mateh ish, if a person found what kind of wife? A good wife. Matzah tov, he found a good life. Meaning it's going to be good for him. He found goodness in his life. Why? Because she's always helping him. She's not going against him. V'yafek ratzon me'Hashem, and he has obtained favor from Hashem. Hashem favors him. Why does Hashem favor him? Only because of his wife. She's protecting him from sin. Now, let's go back over here. Amar Rabbi Chanina said, Le'et motzo. Do you know what means le'et motzo? Take this word le'et motzo. Come on. Let's take this word le'et motzo. This one says le'et motzo, right? Zo isha. How do I know this word defines zo isha, that this is the woman? Shenemar matzah isha matzah tov. So we see over here that when it says that you have to daven for a wife, because it says over here, matzah isha matzah tov. That's it. So we see over here, Rabotai, the word mutzo corresponds to the word matzah. And the word matzah is used by the woman. So therefore, matzah isha, matzah tov. When it says le'ed mutzo, it really means every single person should pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for a good wife. So eventually, B'ezrat Hashem, when you're going to need that good wife, she's going to be available for you. And that's what Rashi was saying. That you should daven that whatever you're praying for, in this case, a wife, it should be found for him. When you're going to need it, Hashem should make it happen, that you guys should get married. You see how beautiful this is, Rabotai? Okay. Now we're going to get to something else. A very beautiful piece. If you want to know if a guy has a good wife or not, ask him, matzah or moteh. We're going to see right now. Matzah and moteh, they both mean finding. It's just the way you say it. Matzah, like we just saw, if a guy says matzah, that means he found a good wife. We'll see right now, if he says moteh, that means he found a bitter wife. Watch this. B'ma'arava, in the west, in Eretz Yisrael, when men marry women, amri lihachi, they would say to him like this, matzah or moteh. They would ask him a question. Tell me, this woman of yours, this wife of yours, is it matzah or is it moteh? So he says, if he would say matzah, that's a good sign. Dichtiv, like we just saw, matzah isha, matzah tov v'yafek ratzon me'Hashem, like we just saw. If he answers the word matzah, we should know, we should understand, because he has a good wife, because what it says over here, matzah isha, matzah tov. Okay? But what happens if the guy answers moteh? Just stop, ask him, matzah or moteh? What happens if the guy says moteh? Dichtiv, over there, this is not a good wife. Over here it's written, dichtiv, umoteh ani mar mimavet et ha'isha. Rabotai, he says, and I have found something more bitter than death, and that is my wife. That's the lashon. That's the lashon of motzeh. Let's just do this. Let me see like this. Okay. Watch this. Let's go see this in Kohelet. Woo! Rabotai, this Kohelet right over here, powerful than power. Very powerful verse. Liba asurim yedecha tov lefnei Elokim yimalet mimena v'chotei yilaked ba. Let's go see what this with you. Kohelet, Perek Zayin. Perek Zayin, Pasuk Chavav. We have that on page, it will be on page Chav in the Sefer Mikraot. Right there. Perek Zayin, Pasuk Chavav. He says like this. When a person says, Umotze ani mar mimavet et ha'isha, when a person says, Umotze ani mar mimavet et ha'isha, I find more bitter than death the woman. What does this mean? Asher, also, the commentary says, what do you mean et ha'isha? So he says over here, but I listen to what does it mean? Why? What happened over here? Why is he saying that I find more bitter than death the wife? Why is he saying that? So he says over here, you know why he says et ha'isha? He, listen to this, Rabotai. He ha'isha hamena'efet, that woman is an adulterer. She does a znut. He ha'isha hamena'efet, asher he, that woman's an adulterer, which she does like this. Mitzudim, when it says over here, motani maramewat et ha'isha, right? That this woman does adultery. Asher he mitzudim, that she, this woman, she has, he says, klei teidah. What means mitzudim? She has a hunting tool. She's like a hunter. Latzud nefashot, she goes ahead and she traps souls. She entices them to sleep with her. Hanifatim acharecha, the ones that are fools to follow after her. The ones that are naive to follow after her. So this is the first one. This is the first statement right over here. 1 second, guys. I'm so sorry. What happened? Okay. Rabotai, watch this. It says, and I find more bitter than death the woman. What does this woman do? This woman is an adulterer. She sleeps around with men. That she is like a hunter. She has skills to hunt. But who does she hunt? Fools, naive people that go after women. These men are called mamish. Right? He says over here, Petaim. Continues the next statement. Vecharamim liba. What does it mean vecharamim liba? So the commentary says, liba hi kimo reshet. Her heart is like a net. So when he says vecharamim liba, he's explaining the word charamim to mean a reshet, to mean a net. She's able to net people in. She's able to snare people in. Ki b'mechshava liba talkud anashim. Because Rabotai, with the thoughts of her heart, she's always able to go out and she's able to always trap men. She's plotting ways to trap people. Now, Rabotai, do you see this over here? How beautiful this is? Umoti animar memavet et ha'isha, and I find more bitter than death the woman. Asher him mitzudim, which this woman is a professional hunter that hunts foolish men that run after her. Comes the next sentence. V'charamim liba. What does it mean v'charamim liba? Huh? So comes the commentary and he says, liba hi kimo resher. Her heart is like a net. Ki b'machshavat liba, because with the thought of her heart, talkud anashim, she's able to go ahead and she's able to trap men. She's able to catch them. She's able to ensnare them into her net. Meaning to say she's always plotting ways to trap people, these fools, to go ahead and sin with her. Rabotai, look what they're called. Asurim yadecha. What does it mean over here? Asurim yadecha. So the commentary says, Yedecha kemo kishurim. Her hands are like as if they are tied, as if like they are bound. Why? Because when she grabs onto someone or when she holds onto someone, it's impossible for the guy to separate from her. That's how dangerous it is, Rabotai, to fall into the hands of a woman. Once you're in it, it is very hard to get out. But listen to what he says. Tov lifnei ha'elohim yimalet mimena v'chotei yilaked ba. Watch this. Comes a commentary, he says, what does it mean, Tov? What does it mean if it's good before Hashem? What does that mean? This is why you have to learn commentaries, Rabotai. Mi shematza zuchud lifnei Hashem. Anybody who has a favor, who has a merit before Hashem, yimalet mimena, Rabotai, he's going to be saved from her. V'chotei yilaked ba. But somebody who does not have the zuchud, he's going to sin with her. He's going to be trapped into her ensnarement. And that's what he's telling us over here. Anybody who found a merit, a favor before Hashem, he's going to be saved from her. Right? Until she can lead him astray through her many tricks. But a sinner, he will fall into her trap. Rabotai, comes Kohel Shlomo Melech comes and he says, a person who's good, meaning a person who finds zuchud before Hashem, Hashem is going to save the guy before he gets caught in her snare, in her trap, before he sins with her. Hashem is going to protect you from this kind of woman. V'choteh, but a sinner, yilaked ba, he's going to be ensnared in her. She's going to be able to trap him. Now, Rabotai, let's go back over here. You see what it means when you learn the Pesukim inside. So we go back over here. When if the guy says Motzeh, that's a bad sign. Why? It's a bad wife. Dichtiv, it's written in the verse, Umotzeh ani mar mimavet et ha'isha. So let's see this one more time. Bima arava in the west, ki nasev enish itata. When a man would marry a woman, amri lehachi, they would say like this to him, Matzah or Motzeh. If he says Matzah, dichtiv matzah isha matzah tov, you should know he found a good wife. Hashem. Motzeh, but if the guy says Motzeh, you should know he has a bitter wife. Dichtiv umotzeh ani mar memavet et isha. Like the verse says, and I find more than death, and I find more bitter than death, the wife. Vilgumer said, like we explained. So we see over here, Rabotai, that when a person dawens to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you want to be able to daven to Hashem for a good wife who's going to help you in your amalot, who's going to help you in toiling in this world. Whether it's going to be in the workforce, whether it's going to be in Avodat Hashem, whether it's going to be in doing mitzvot, learning Torah, chesed. You want a woman that's going to want to grow with you. Not a woman chasson who's going to want to be opposite of you. That she's going to make you sin. Because remember, when it's matzah isha matzah tov, how do you find favor before Hashem? When she's able to save you from sin, you are able to find favor before Hashem. He's going to favor you. You know how much, you basically saying that he's on your side, he's helping you. But Rabotai, Motzeh, that's very bad. When it says Motzeh, if you find a bitter wife, Chas v'shalom lo aleinu, Dichtiv Motzeh ani mar memavet et ha'isha, like it's written, and I find more bitter than death, the wife. That Rabotai is bad. That you don't want a wife that's for the world. You want a wife that's going to be your wife. And this is where a lot of people don't have their priorities straight. You know, a lot of times you ask a guy, why aren't you married? I'm looking for this guy, I'm looking for top model, I'm looking for like this size, this size, this. What's this? Why don't you look at what's really important? Is she going to be a good wife? Is she going to be a good mother to your children? You are marrying a woman who's supposed to be married to you. You're not marrying a woman who's supposed to be married to you and the world. You know, somebody came up to me with a question, it was very sad. I mean, but what do you do? Honestly, nobody, but it happens. Listen to this. A guy comes to me and he says his wife does not want to have more children. I don't know, maybe they had one children, maybe two children, I don't know. But they don't have a lot of children. So I don't even know the people. You know, he sees me in shul, he says, Rabbi, you know, my wife does not want to have more children. Is it permissible or not for her to put in an IUD? I said, I can't answer these questions. You need to go to a rabbi that's like a rabbi that knows you, family rabbi. He's like, no, 1 second. Just I'm asking you a question. My wife does not want to have children. I said, so what's the? I cannot decide these questions. I don't know you guys. So he says, no. What I'm trying to tell you is, my wife does not want to have more children because she's very much concerned about her body. She's all about her body. Her lips are today. The number is this big. Everything is fake. It's all about her body. Rabotai, I can't say anything. I'm not going to judge the people. I'm not going to judge no woman. But one thing I'll tell you what Kohelet, what Shlomo Melech says. What do you say over here? Unfortunately, it's Motzeh. You found a bitter wife. You didn't find a wife that wants to help you and raise a family of B'nai Torah and bring more children to the world. You found a wife that wants to make sure that she looks good for the outside world. This is it right here. Umotzeh ani, and I have found mar me'mavet, something more bitter than death, and that is the woman. What can I do, Rabotai? This is Motzeh, unfortunately. A woman does not want to have children. Again, I'm nobody to go ahead and say why she does not want to have children. If it's chas v'shalom because it changes her body and she, it's danger to her life, and God forbid they don't have enough money to, they're dying on their last penny. Chas v'shalom. But not a family, Rabotai. When you look at their house, you think they're living like the president of the world, right? Big house, mansion. You got 5 big bedrooms. And you got 1 or 2 children? Rabotai, money you have, so that's not an issue. If the issue is really the body and everything, this Rabotai, always seek your local rabbi. You're never allowed to do anything without the rabbi's permission. She cannot decide to take an IUD or pills or whatever, and she cannot do that. Without the rabbi's permission, she's not allowed to do that. The rabbi has to give her permission that she can have a break, whatever it might be, however long she needs it. But she has to get a consent from the rabbi. But Rabotai, who asks today? Nevertheless, let's continue. Next piece. So, according to Rabbi Hanina, we saw that a person should daven for a good wife. Rabbi Natan says, you know what means le'et moto? Zot Torah. A person should always pray for Torah. That Bezrat Hashem, when you sit down and to want to learn Torah, you should understand Torah. You should live Torah. You should fulfill Torah. You should pray that Torah should be in your essence, not outside. Not outside, Rabotai. Not outside of you. I'm in the synagogue, I'm a Jewish person. I'm in Miami, I'm a different person. Rabbi Natan says, Le'ed Motzo. You know what the word Le'ed Motzo means? Zotra is going on the Torah. Shermak, the pasuk says, because it says in the Torah, Ki Motzei, anybody who found me, Matzah. Rabotai, watch just a second. Oh, let me see if I can get it. Oh, yes. It says matzah, and again, same thing, Rabotai. Same thing. I don't know, sometimes it gives it to me, sometimes it doesn't give it to me. Okay. Right, same thing, the fact that you have matzah, motzeh, matzah. So he wants to say that this led motzah, really, what should a person really pray for? According to the opinion of Rabbi Natan, a person should pray for Torah. When you're in the blessing of Atah Chonen, that you should understand Torah, your children should understand Torah, your wife should understand Torah, your generation should understand Torah. Rabotai, we have to pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that we have the zuchut to sit and learn Torah. That's what Rabbi Natan says. Rabbi Natan says, Le'ed motzo zo Torah shenemar ki motzi'i. Because it says in Mishlei, for all those that find me, Hashem said, right? Matzah chayim. But what is it really going on Torah? Watch this. Let's go, same thing over here. Let me see. This is Mishlei Chet Lamed He. Okay, so it's on page Chav in the Sefer Mikraot. Perek Het Lamed He. Oh, that's Kohelet. My bad. 1 second. That's Kohelet. Now what I can find it there. 1 second. Let's go to Mishlei. It's on page Yud Chet, guys. Here. It says like this. Ki motzi'i. When it says ki motzi'i, one who finds me, matzah chayim, he found life. Vayefek ratzon Hashem, and he has obtained favor from Hashem. So he says over here, Rabotai, in Chet, Vayefek umotzi rashon Hashem, ratzon lomar, Hashem yemirutzelo, Hashem is going to be pleased with him. So same concept, Rabotai, same concept. What we saw with the Matzah Ish Matzah Tov, Hashem, same concept. But Hashem says, anybody, he says, Kim Motzi, anybody who finds me, anybody who finds Torah, Matzah Chaim, he found life. If you have Torah, you have life. A good life, the best life. Vayefek Ratzon Hashem, and you're going to obtain favor from Hashem. Hashem is going to be pleased with you. So that's it. That's the opinion of Rabbi Natan. Rabbi Natan Omer le'ed Motzah, Zot Torah shenemar ki motziim matzah chaim. Next opinion, Rabbi Nachman bar Yitzchak Amar, Rav Nachman the son of Yitzchak says, le'et Motzah. Do you know what means le'et Motzah? Rabotai, watch this. Alright, you guys get the point. He's going to say, le'et Motzah, you know what a person really down for? Zo mita. This is death. This word motzo and totzaot are similar in their root. So that's what he wants to say. A person, when it says let motzo, what should a person pray for? So at the time when it comes, it should be readily available. Death. We're going to see right now. What is that? What do you mean? What do you mean daven for death? What does that mean? So Rashi says, le'ed motzo zomuta zomita sheyamut b'mita yafe v'nocha. A person should pray for that the time when he's going to have to die, eventually when a person is going to have to die, he should die a beautiful death. A beautiful and easy death without any complications, chas v'shalom. Rabotai, that's what a person should pray for. Praying for your own death. Can you imagine that? Rabotai, if you're going to start praying for your own death, you're going to start realizing how important it is to do mitzvot and learn Torah and not waste your time. That's actually a good idea, by the way. Right? Le'ed motzah zo mitah. Sheyamut b'mita yafeh v'nocha, that he should die in a comfortable and easy death. So that's what Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak holds. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak said, le'et mitzo zo mita, this is going on death. Shenemar, like the pasuk says, lamavet totzaot. Now let's see Tehillim. Let's go to Tehillim. Chapter Samachet, pasuk 21. I have it on page Tet Zayin. Yes. He says here like this. He says over here, Ha'el alanu el lemoshiot. So basically we're saying that Hashem to us is a God of deliverance. V'la Hashem Adonai lamavet totzaot. And to Hashem, our master, lamavet totzaot, the death, it has many avenues. Watch this, let me read it for you. So he says, what does it mean, Lanu el lemoshiot? What does it mean that Hashem is to us, is for us a God of deliverance? What does that mean? Lanu hu el hamoshiyah. Hashem to us is a God of salvation. V'lo lehavi ra'ah. But he's not here, Rabotai, to bring bad upon us. V'im ki, even though lefanav yesh harbe totzaot v'derachim. Even before him, there are many avenues, many ways, el hamavet, to death. Mikol makom, nevertheless, lo yivu'um aleinu, he's not going to bring it on us, ela al sonenu, only rather on the people that hate us. That's what he says over here, Rabotai. Ha'el lanu, our God is to us, el lemoshot, a God of salvation. V'la Hashem Adonai lamavet totzaot, and to Hashem, he when it comes to death, he has many avenues and many ways. But who is he going to bring those many avenues and many ways? On the people that hate us and not on the Jewish people. So that's why when we see over here Rabotai, he wants to learn. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak wants to learn when it says le'ed motzo, it's also similar to the word totzaot, which means avenues. So that's why he wants to learn that a person should always pray for that his death should be good. When the right time comes for the person to die, he should die an easy and comfortable death. This is what Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak is saying. This is what he's learning from the word le'ed motzo. This is what every single person has to pray for. Rabotai, I'm going to ask you a question now. The Gemara is going to say this later on. From all these opinions that we're saying what you should really pray for, which one of those opinions, just think about it as we go along, which one of those opinions is really the most important opinion? As we go, we're going to have more, okay? Tanya Namihachit was also taught in the Braita. Rabotai, listen to this. Tesha me'ot ushlosha minei mita nivru ba'olam. This is nuts. You have 903 types of death that were created in the world. Hashem has 903 ways to kill people. Well, it's not enough just to kill them one shot. 903 ways. Sheneimar, like it states, la mavet totzaot. When it comes to death, Hashem has many avenues. How do we know from there it's 903? Very simple. Totzaot begematria hachi havu. When you take the word totzaot, the ways that Hashem has many ways to kill people, the gematria, the numerical value of the totzaot, that's what's going to be. It's going to be 903. The gematria of totzaot is 903. How do we see it? Tav is 400. Vav is 6. Tzadik is 90. Aleph is 1. Vav is 6. Tav is 400. Tav plus Tav, 400 plus 400 is going to give me 800. 800 plus Tzadik. If I have 800 plus 90, it's going to be 890. 890 plus 12 is going to give me 902. Plus 1 is going to give me 903. So Rabotai, you see how that I just did that? 400 plus 400 is 800. 800 plus 90 is 890. 890 plus 6 is 896. 896 plus another 6 is going to be 902. 902 plus 1 is going to be 903. Okay, so that's the gematria. That's why when he says over here, Tanya Namihach, it was also taught in the Braita, Tesha me'ot u'shalosha minei minta nivru ba'olam, that there's 903 ways of death a person can die in this world. That's the way it was created in this world. Shenimar, like is stated in the pasuk, lamavet totzaot. Totzaot begematria hachi havu. That's the gematria. The numerical value is 903, like I explained. Continues the Gemara says, Kasha shebikulam, the most difficult of them all, askara. We're going to see what this is. Nicha shebikulam nishika, the most comfortable, the most easiest one from all of the deaths is the kiss of death. So now he's going to tell us, askara, what is it compared to? Let's see this, Rabotai. Askara, damya ki chizra bigivava, de amra de la achuri nishra. Ve'ika de amra ki pituri bipi veshet. Now we're going to go, Rabotai, one by one. Nishika damya ki mishachal binita mechalba. Now we're going to have to see this Rashi, Rabotai. We have a few Rashis to do. Now I'm going to have to just read it with you inside. I'm going to read from my Rashi. But you guys can see, I just have to see the nukudot on this right over here, okay? I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's a foreign word. Let me see over here what he says. Askara, he says, Isterangelemenet. That's what it is, right? Isterangelemenet. Okay, fine. Belaz. I guess that's the way they used to say it back then. Shebetoch haguf, which is inside the body. If you look into Hagot Ritzunim in Odalid, he tells you basically what is this? Chenek, strangulation. Strangulation, that's all. He says that so I remember learning also in Masechet Shabbat, they bring down askara. Now, how does askara work, Lolo, in Chasu Shalom? Askara, Chasam, it's a form of swelling. How is the person going to be strangled? Not that they strangle him. I mean, you can say that, but he says that this is betoch haguf, shebetoch haguf, right? He says right over here, that this chenek, this strangulation, belaz, but shebetoch haguf, it's inside the body. So how does this work, Lola, in Chasu Shalom? The intestines, they start swelling up and they start going to the throat. When they reach the esophagus, the breathing pipe, it chokes because it swells up also. It closes the hole from breathing, and that's how the person dies. This is the worst form of death, Chasu Shalom. But Rabotai, he gives us an example how bad it could be. He compares it to something. Look what he says. When he says over here, when the Gemara says, Ki chizra bigivava, de amra, udil achorei nashra, right? So let's see this. So he says like this. What's ki chizra? So he says, Ke anfei hasirim, hanisbichim bigezet atemir, כשאדם נותק בחזקה ומשליך לאחור, שאי אפשר שלא ינתק הצבר עימה. Now let's take this, Rabotai, one word at a time. It says like this. When we say over here, Ki chizr b'givava, let's do this. Let's take one word at a time. Hopefully, he's going to give me this coloring. Be very nice. I just want to show you. Okay. I just want to show how important it is when you're doing Rashi. Because remember, I don't know what the Gemara is saying. I don't know that language. It's in Aramaic. I don't know what it is. But Rashi, he breaks it down for us. Okay, and this is how when you learn Rashi, this is how you know how to connect. So right, so when it says over here, Ki chizra b'givava, right? So what does it mean, Ki chizra b'givava? Ka'anfei hasirim. Right? So he said, it's like, Ka'anfei hasirim, it's like the branches of a thorn bush. Let's say it's a very sharp type of, it's like a thorn basically. Right? It's a branch of a thorn where they have a lot of prickles on it. Hanistabichim, which are complex, which are tied up with, which are entangled, begizet atzemer. Now here we go, Rabotai. That they're entangled up in begizet atzemer. 1 second. When he says here the begizet atzemer, that they're entangled in the begizet atzemer. So if you take over here, Rabotai, I'm going to try to do my best over here, okay? So when you see over here, so you know what I should have done? Okay. Okay, let's do this. I want to make sure that I should do this. Let's do this. Okay, let's do this. Ki chizr b'givava de amra, ka'anfei hasirim. It's as those branches of a thorn bush. B'givava, what's a givava? It's like a pile, like a bundle. De amra. What's a amra? Begizet atzemer. Again, I couldn't highlight the whole thing, but you guys get it. The amra is begizet atzemer. What's the begizet atzemer? Fleece of wool. So you have to imagine to yourself. This, by the way, he's explaining to us. If you want to understand Chas v'Shalom, Rabotai, what is the worst death of them all, he's explaining to us right now what it is. So he says, Ki chizre b'givava d'amra. It's as if you have a branch which has thorns on it, which is entangled, and it's a bichim, b'gizra tzemer, which is entangled in the pile of wool. That's what we're saying. Ki chizre b'givava d'amra. Like you have a thorn, like a prickle, that's in a pile of wool. Now, he says, now we're going to explain this. Del achorei nashra. What means del achorei nashra? Let's take this word at a time. Look how Rashi is explaining this. Look how Rashi is going at length. Look at how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 words in Rashi and about 20 words in his explanation, right? There's 5 words over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And how many more words is Rashi explaining the whole sentence? This is why Rashi is so beautiful. So now he says, what it means del achorei? Kishadam nutek be'achazara. Bechazaka, I'm sorry. Kishadam notek bechazaka. When a person is going to take, imagine taking this branch that has thorns on it, or prickles, whatever you want to call it. Imagine he's trying to pull it back with strength because he wants to take it out. Because remember, he got stuck inside there. Kishadam notek bechazaka. When a person rips it with strength, umashlich lachor. Now he throws his hand backwards because he wants to take it out. Rabotai, this is what it means over here. Del achorei. All this one word del achorei, this is what Rashi is telling you. You know what happened over here? Kishadam notek bechazaka umashlich lachor. That's what he's telling you. That's how he wants you to understand that word. You see what just happened? Rashi is telling when a person wants to go ahead and he wants to rip out this branch, which is all with thorns, from a pile of wool. Let's put it like that. And he's pushing backwards. He says, Shi'i efshar. It's impossible. It's impossible that the wool would not rip with it. For sure, when you're pulling back a branch which has thorns on it, 100% when you want to rip it away from the wool, for sure you're going to damage the wool. Rabotai is so true. He says this is askara. This is when the neshama comes out from the body. This is how much pain a person is going to feel, where it's impossible not to rip the wool. So when the neshama comes out, it's not going to be possible for the person not to get damage his body. This is a very severe form of death, Rabotai. He's giving us an understanding, how we can understand how a person, chas v'shalom, if he dies the worst death. Okay, now that we know the Rashi, I could read this simple because you guys saw the Rashi. Ki chizra b'gavav da'amra, when you have a sharp branch, a thorny branch in a pile of wool, and when the person wants to go ahead and he wants to push back, he wants to take out the wood from the wool, nashra, what happens? Rabotai, he cuts. It's impossible that the wool is not going to cut by him pulling back the prickled wood. Okay, so that's what it means, Rabotai. Let's do the Rashi one more time. Ki chizr is kanfei haserim, like the branches of a thorn bush, big gevava, which is in a pile, hanis bechim, which are entangled, begizat atzemer, which are entangled in the fleece of wool, and that's what the amr means. Del achorei nashra, kishadam noteg bechazaka umashrik lachor. When a person pushes back, it's impossible for the branch not to rip some of the wool that he's ripping it from. Okay, and that's basically what he's telling us over here. This is chas v'shalom Rabotai, one form of askara. So before we go to the next Rashi, let's go back to the Gemara. Let's see the Gemara. So we said over here, kashesh bikulan, the most difficult of them all, askara. Nichash bikulan, the most easiest of them all, nishika, kissing. Let's go one by one now. Askara, what is askara? Let's do this one. That's what we just did in Rashi. Askara dameki chizdra bigivava. Askara is comparable to this death of the askara. If you want to know how it feels like, try taking a prickled branch and having it in a pile or in a bundle of wool, and trying to taking out that branch from outside it without ripping the wool. It's impossible. For sure it's going to rip the wool. So Tovi Rabotai, this is the form of death when it comes to askara. Now, v'ikad da'amri, there are those that say, you want to understand what askara really means? Another way you could understand, how you can relate how severe this form of death is. V'ikad da'amri ki pituri bipi veshet. Okay. Rabotai again. Kiputuri bipiveshe, 3 words, right over here. 3 words. Right? And this is a whole Rashi explaining it. This is why it's very important to always do Rashi. I'm telling you, Rabotai, always do Rashi. Don't move. You want to run through Daf Yomi, whatever you want to do, but do Rashi first, then do the Daf Yomi. At least you understand where the words are coming from. So let's see, Rabotai, what's Kiputuri bipiveshe? Excuse me. Okay. Now, you know what I should do? Let's do this first. Let's do this. Because look what it said. Pituri BP veshet, correct? This is what he tells us. But then he's going to explain to us how the whole thing works. So let's go first, identify what it means. Pituri BP veshet. Let's just do this. Pituri is chavalim, it's ropes. Pituri are cords. The metargeminan upituri tzitzitzim atuninan in malachim. Let me see over here. What do I have over here? Which it's a Targum Onkelos. Where did it go? Okay. He says like this. He says, when it says Pituri, he wants to learn. Okay, watch this. Come on. He wants to learn that the word Pituri is chavalim, is cords. Now he says, how do I know that Pituri is chavalim? Where'd you get it from? So I'll tell you why. Because if you look into Malachim, it says that Dimitargaminan, we translate the word Pituri over there, Antunin. You guys, I'm probably driving you guys up the wall. Antunin, what's Antunin? Chavalim, they're one and the same thing. Pituri we translate there as to mean Antunin. So that's why I know that this is Chavalim. That's why I know it's a cord. But what is really, if you look into Malachim, what is pituri? Pituri are flower buds. What are tzitzitzim? Blossoming. Flowers that are blossoming. But no, Targum says no. Targum says that these pituri are the cords of the flowers which are blossoming, meaning the strings. So that's what he wants to learn. Really, pituri is a cord. Again, Rashi is defining for us how we have to understand, or from where is it coming to the word pituri means chavalim. You can't just make it up. What it means, BP veshit, hu hanekev, shuhu agul. We're going to see why, because we're going to see the bolts. We're going to see the case with the bolts right now. BP veshit, it's in the mouth of the veshit. What's a veshit, Rabotai? When you look into a veshit, okay, watch this. I want to show you something. This says BP. This says BP veshit, and then you have kipi veshit. They're two different things, but they're similar. Why? BP veshit, he tells you hu hanekev. We'll see it's the hole. Shuhu agul. It's a hole. We'll see on the bolt, on the size of the bolt, it was like a hole. But he's telling you how big was that hole? Kipi veshit, like the esophagus, like the hole of the esophagus. Rabotai, watch this. BP veshit, kipi veshit. This BP veshit is the hole on the boat which is round like the esophagus, like our windpipe. That's, Rabotai, the translation that Rashi is giving us. And now we're going to see, so I'm just telling you outside. Rashi is going to say, try taking a sailor's cord and putting it through a hole of a boat. We're going to see Rashi is going to explain this. All this right now he's going to explain. I just have to do that so you guys can see that. He's going to explain the whole concept, how it works. You know, they would have to stick it very hard because it was very hard to get it into there. He says same thing with the person when he dies. That's the worst form of askara. Take a cord and try to go ahead and try to push it in, I don't know, into the hole of the esophagus, and then try to pull it out from the other end. You know how you're going to burn the person's throat? You know how hard that is? Sometimes you swallow something which is, how can I tell you, where it has, if it's not smooth, you know, it has like say like a fish, or a bone, you feel a little bit, it scratches you, right? So that's why, Rabotai, we're going to see over here how dangerous the death of askara is. Let's see it. So first Rashi is going to tell you something beautiful. He says, Yam Okeanis, the ocean, yesh bo mekomot, it has places, listen to this, she'eino mikabel barzel, it's not able to accept metal. Rabotai, you know what that means? You know, Rabotai, if it's not able to accept metal, remember, if a boat wants to stop in a certain place, I forgot how you call these things. The anchor, you have to throw down the anchor. The anchor goes over there and it's able to hold it. But he says that there's certain places in the ocean where it's not able to, it doesn't care for your anchor. It's not going to be able to, you're going to float through the water. So what happens? So he says, Yam Okeanis, the ocean, yesh bo mekamot, it has places, she'eino mikabel barzel, it's not able to accept metal. So what do? Umechabarim luchei hasefina al yidei chavalim va'akalim. So therefore, what do? They attached luchei, they attached the boards of the boat. I'm understanding the Rashi over here, like if you have two boats, so they shouldn't drift away from one another, they go ahead and they attach the boats to one another through ropes, va'akalim, and through twisted cords. Shetochvim b'nek, where they push it through the hole, v'toku'in oto b'dochek, and they insert it with pressure, with a lot of force. Lefishem gasim kimidat hanekev, because these cords, or these twisted cords, you know the problem with them, they are as thick as the hole. So it's not so easy to get it in there. So they really have to push it in. He says that's askara. That's another way you can understand what is the worst form of death there is, askara, and that's that type of death. So now let's go back and I'll see the Gemara. Rabotai, you see with Rashi, everything is beautiful. See, look, I just want to show you guys. I want you guys to see. You don't have to be a genius, you just have to apply yourself and that's it. I want to show you like this. He says, all this that he says over here, Rabotai, now you're able to go ahead and understand it over here. V'ika de amri, 3 words, Rabotai, kiputri pipi veshet. This was all this Rashi right here. This Rashi, I'm sorry. No, this Rashi right here. This whole Rashi. Right? That's what we do that whole Rashi. This Rashi, this Rashi. But you see how beautiful this is? Do you know the beauty when you learn Rashi and you don't just try to learn the Torah just like that? These words come back up again. And if you ever have to look it up, you know what to look up, you know what to find, you know how to even define it. Okay, so let's go back over here. Let's go back to the Gemara. There are those that say, you know what Askara is? You know how that feels? Now we can understand. It's like those twisted cords in the hole of the boat. And that's why he said over here, Rashi said over here, who was BP Veshet? Who on Nekev Shu Agul? That was a hole which was on the wall of the boat, which was round, Kipi Veshet, like the esophagus. Okay, Rabotai, now we can understand. Imagine, Rabotai, take the esophagus. I don't know if you ever guys seen an animal, for example. You see how it's not very big. If you take that and try to take a rope, at least a sailor's rope, and try to go ahead and put it inside, by the time you finish taking it out from the other end, there's going to be no more esophagus. It's going to rip up everything. Anyway, but that's that he's explained to us. That's what it means. Ask, this is the worst form of death. What about the easiest form of death? We said Nishika. So that was, okay, so let's just do this one more time. We said over here, ask, oh, so 1 second, let's do this. We said over here, Kashesh Bikulan Askara. We said the most difficult of them all was Askara. Nicha Bikulam Nishika. The most easiest of them all is the kiss of death. That's what they say, kiss of death, right? Nishika. What is Nishika comparable to? Nishika damya ki mishchal binita michalba. This is very simple. Let's see Rashi. Very simple, Rabotai. I'm going to show you again. Ki mishchal, when you take the word ki mishchal. Okay. Rabotai, if you take the word ki mishchal, binita michalba, you're going to learn it like this. Ki moshech. Kimishchal over here would be Kimoshech. When you're drawing Binita, what's a Binita? Nimat, it's a hair. Nimat Se'ar, which is a strand of a hair. Mitoch Michalba. Mitoch Hachalaf. From the milk. That's it, Rabotai. You see what I just did? I don't know why it's not giving. Just give me 1 second. Let me see if I could do. I really want you guys to be able to know. Oh, there we go. Kimishchal is Kimoshech. Benita is Nimat Se'ar, a strand of hair. No, why do I make it green? Mechalba is mitoch hachalav. Okay, Rabotai? There you go. See? So now you are able to understand, Rabotai, this is how we do Rashi. Rashi is there to help you identify, define the words so you can learn the Gemara better. Okay? Now we are moving back to understanding another opinion of a Tana that he's going to tell us what should a person pray for. Rabbi Yochanan said, Le'et motzot. Do you know what means Le'et motzot? Do you know what it means that a person should daven for something, then it should be readily available when he's going to need it? You know what you should daven for? Zo kivura. That you should be buried properly. Can you imagine, Rabotai? Can you imagine davening to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that your burial should go well? That you should be buried properly. Imagine, Rabotai, we're not here forever. So that's the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan Amar led motzot zo kvura. When it says in the pasuk led motzot, you know what you should be davening for? For the burial. How are you going to be buried? And if you think, Rabotai, this is not serious, October 7th, how many people got proper burial? I was told from somebody inside. I know a person, a very, very Yerushalayim guy, a very big Talmud Chacham. He went to Israel to help, to collect the blood from the floors on October 7th, to collect body pieces, Rabotai. He says what he saw, he has trauma from it. But he went and he helped, Rabotai, Moiser Nefesh. But you know the problem was? You know, many limbs, they didn't know where it belongs, where it goes, who's to what, they didn't know. So they made one big pit and they buried everybody together. Can you imagine, Rabotai? Rabotai, this is not a joke. How many people you know that got lost in the sea? How many people you know got burned chas v'shalom by fire, lo aleinu? How many people disappeared and they still not buried? What about the captives that were dead and how many years they were as hostages in Gaza? It's not a joke, Rabotai. A person, according to Rabbi Yochanan said you should pray to God that you're going to be buried properly inside the ground. Rabbi Yochanan Amar led Mutzo, you know what that is? Zokvura is the burial. Amar Rabbi Chanin said, Mikra, what is the verse that proves that you should daven for a burial, a good burial? Rabotai, listen to this. Hasmichim elei gil yasisu kiyim tu'u kaver. Now, we're going to see, why is Rabbi Yochanan learning that le'ed motzo is zokvura? So Rabbi Chanin says, do you know what the verse is that's going to prove that you have to daven really for your burial, how you can be buried? Very simple. Says Yim tu, same shor, same root word. Says Yim tu, same word motzo. What's the problem? That's how he learns. That's how he proves it. You see? Same thing about that, like we've been going back and forth. So now if we're going to go ahead and we're going to look into Iyuv in Perik Gimel and Chav Bet, I have it in the Sefer Mikraot in page Yud Tet. He says over here, Hasmechim elei gil, those who are happy over joyous occurrences, Yasisukim tu kaver, they're going to be glad when they're going to find a grave. So comes the verse, the commentary comes and he explains the verse, Aneshim shilimei hada'at, men of complete knowledge, Hasmichim el davar asher ra'ui v'nachon l'smoch bo, that they are happy for something which is correct and proper to be happy for. So he says with the word gil, I want to just show you Rabotai like this. Hasmechim eli, the ones that are overjoyous. Gil is another form of joy. That's what he's trying to say. That you have some people that are overly joyous for the more proper things that you have to joy for. You have to be happy for. Yes, these type of people, they'll be happy. Kiyim to ukaver. Halohema yasisu kashayim to cover. These people, isn't it true that when they're going to find a grave, they're going to be happy? So basically, we see from over here. When it says Asmichim elegil, those ones that are over rejoicing for things that you should rejoice for, yes, they'll be happy. Kim to cover. Right. So this is basically the verse in Iyuv. Hasmechim elegil yasisu kim to cover. Fine. Now, so when we go back over here, Rabbi Yochanan said, Le'et motzo zokivura. That's burial. Rabbi Chanina said, Maikra, what is the verse that a person should daven for a burial? He says, Hasmichim ele gil yasisu kiyim tu'u kaver. Rabba bar Rav Shila. Rabba, the son of Rav Shila said, this is what people say. People should ask for mercy from Hashem, meaning you should daven to Hashem. Afilu at zibula batraita shalama, even until the last clog of dirt that's going to fall on your grave, that everything, that the whole world should be in peace. We'll see this right now in Rashi. Okay, watch this. Rashi says. So he says over here, let me just see over here, because again, I want to see this zibula. He says over here, zibula is dirt. Okay, I want to just see over here. Where's the zibul over here? 1 second. Okay, so he says zibula is pelede belaz. This is pelede belaz. In the foreign language is pelede. But in the Haggadah V'Tzurim and Odhei, it tells you what is it? What is zibula? So he says, kamut shenichneset bekav chafira, is the amount of dirt that's going to be able to enter into the shovel, into the cavity of the shovel. So that one means zibula. So basically, comes the Gemara telling us, what would people say that they should pray for, even for the last shovel, that it should fall on their grave when they're being buried. It should fall and the whole world should be at peace. We're going to see this right now. So zibula rabotai is, like the Haggadah V'Tzurim wants to explain, is the amount of dirt that is on the cavity of the shovel. So he says, Zibula Batraita Shalama, what does that mean? Look what he says. Sheheh lo shalom kol yimei chayav, that his life should be peaceful all the days of his life. Ve'av biyom kivurato, even on the day of his burial, it should also, the whole world should be at peace. Meaning there should be no wars. Ad ashlachat afar ha'achrona, until throwing the last dirt, until throwing the last shovel. Shebikisu kivurato, when they're covering his burial, when they're covering the grave. Can you imagine, Rabotai, what a person should pray for? That's what he says, Zibula batraita shalama, that the last shovel, this batraita means the last, Zibula means the dirt that's in the the dirt that's in the last shovel, Zibula batraita shalama, that it should be thrown also, and there should be world peace. If Chasam there's chaos, he's not going to be buried, his neshama is not going to be at ease. So that's what he's telling us over here. So let's go back over here. Amar Rabba bar Rav Shela. Rabba, the son of Rav Shela, said, this is what people said. People should ask for mercy, meaning pray to Hashem. Afilu, even ad zibula batraita shalama, even on the last dirt that's going to be thrown onto your burial spot, that everything, the whole world should still be at peace. That there shouldn't be any wars or chas v'shalom, anything like that, that's going to hold them back from throwing the last dirt on your burial spot. That's what, Rabotai, it's very important. Even though we have today workers and we have machines. I went one time, we were in a cemetery, me and one more rabbi, and he told us, we have to do it. So the guys, whatever, the family of the deceased said, let the goyim do it. They had those trucks, like those trucks that you pick up the dirt and you throw it. I don't know what's excavate, I don't know what it's called. And so the rabbi said, absolutely not. He says, we're going to stay here until we're going to make sure that all the dirt is piled upon the dead guy. So it should be like a mound. And that's what we did. I remember when he told me this was the whole teaching. So that's why it's very important. When you're there, make sure that everything goes, every single last dirt goes on the neshama. Meaning goes on the person that's dead over there. Don't just walk away and let the goyim do it. We have a mitzvah to do it. Okay, so let's just do this, and before we continue to the next teaching, Rabbi Yochanan said, means le'et motzo zo kvora. Now we can better understand what Rabbi Yochanan said. I said it earlier, but I got it from the later teaching. But that's what Rabbi Yochanan said. A person should pray for that his burial is going to be peaceful. Everything's going to be at peace. There's going to be no interference. There's going to be no balagan. Rabbi Yochanan Amar le'ed motzo, you know what a person has to pray for? That at the time when he's going to need it, everything should come out good. Zo kivura, he should pray that his burial should be done in the right way. Amar Rabbi Chanina Maikara, Rabbi Chanina said, what is the verse that says that a person should pray for the kivura, for his burial to be done correctly? He says, Asmichim elegil, those that are overly rejoiced, and they rejoice for the right things that they have to rejoice for. Yasisu, those same people, they'll be happy, kiyim to ukaver, when they're going to find a grave. Amar Rabba bar Rav Shela said, and to understand that verse better, this is what people used to say, or this is what people say. Libaye enish rachame, let people ask for mercy. Afilu ad zibula batraita shalem, even until the last dirt that's going to be thrown onto the grave spot, everything should be done in peace. Let's just see the Rashi one more time. Shehelo shalom kol yimei chayav, that there should be peace all the days of his life. Va'av beyom kivuroto, even on the day of his burial, there should be peace in the world. Ad hashalachat afar achrona, until they're going to throw the last dirt. Shebikisu kivuroto, when it comes to covering the grave. So this is going to be the final one. Marzutra said, you know what means le'ed moto? You know what a person really has to pray for? Ze beta kisa, for a bathroom. Look into Rashi. Rashi says, le'ed moto ze beta kisa. What do you want to pray for? Sheyeh dar b'makom, you should live in a place. Sheyeh beta kisa samuch lo, that you should have a bathroom close to you. Lefi shayta karka shel Bavel mitzulat mayim, since the ground of Bavel, it was basically underneath the ground was with very deep waters. They were not able to make ditches over there. והיו צריכים לצאת בשדות ולהתרחק מאוד, and they would need to go out into the fields and to distance from the place where they lived very much. So comes Mar Zutra and he says, you know what means le'ed motzah? You know what you should daven for? You should daven for that you're going to live in a place where the Beit HaKis is close to you. That's what Rashi was telling us, Rabotai. She'edar b'mokum she's Beit HaKis samuch lo. You should pray to Hashem that if you're going to have to move somewhere, Rabotai, look at how people lived back then. Today, Baruch Hashem, we have Beit HaKis. Look how grateful and thankful we have to be to Hashem. We have the bedrooms in our own houses. But look what he would daven for. She'edar b'mokum she's Beit HaKis samuch lo. That he should live in a place where there's a bathroom close to him. Why did he daven for this specifically? Because the ground, the land of Bavel was very, underneath it was water. And they were not able to ditch ditches there. And they needed to go out to the fields and distance very much. That's why he would pray for a bathroom. Amri b'ma'arava, you remember I asked you the question, which one of these things a person should pray for? Amri b'ma'arava, in the west. They said, meaning in Israel, Ha Mar Zutra adifa mikiluhu. This statement of Mar Zutra is better than all of them. When we say over there, le'et motzah, that what should a person pray for? That it should be readily available when he's going to need it. You know what you should pray for? You should pray for that you should have a bathroom near you. That's what they said. Amri b'ma'arav, they said in the West, Ha de Mar Zutra adifa mikuluhu. The teaching of Mar Zutra is better from all the other teachings. Can you imagine, Rabotai, what it would mean to have a Beit Kise, to have a bathroom next to you? Today, Baruch Hashem, we have it. Okay.